Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. So my buddy Gary came on by during the week and he asked me an interesting question. He has two rackets. One is a 3/8 and one is a half grip. So one's a 4.5, one's a 3/8. And he asked me, is there a difference in weight? Or is there a difference in balance and swing weight in these? My natural answer is probably yes, right? So I'm gonna do some testing. Stay tuned. All right, so what I have here for today's test is basically Wilson Ultra 108s. And I have a 1/8 grip, a 1/4 grip, a 3/8 grip, and a half grip. So what I'm going to be testing is the weight, the balance, and the swing weight, and if they change between the grip sizes. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is cut out the placards and then get out the balancing board. All right, I chose these rackets because I had the 4 grip sizes. Hey Madison. Hey Tennis Spin. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna stack them up. Half on the bottom, 3/8, 1/4. One-eighth. Get my balancing board out. Start with 1/8. 1/8. We're also going to test if there's a variance, if actually Wilson calculates this stuff in 329. $329 on the 1/8. Let's go right back to 329. This is going to be a little more. Not much though. That's 330. Okay. Take the 3/8. $332. $332. And then lastly the half. $332. Okay. All right. So let's take it to the scale and see what we get with the weight and the swing weight. All right. So I got the 1/8 at the scale. $271. All right, let's swing weight this. 74. Okay. Quarter. $269. And swing weight. $272. 3/8. $270.5. $280. And then we got the half here. $270.5. Swing weight on the half. $278. All right, so I got my data. Let's go analyze. All right, so Gary came to me during the week, and he has a pro staff in a 3/8 and a pro staff in a half. And he switches back and forth, and he says, I can tell the difference in the swing weight between the two of them. Is there a difference? Should there be a difference? And I said, well, yeah, you know, when something's thinner in your hand, there should be more weight distributed towards the head. When it's thicker in your hand, it should be a little lighter in the head. That's just my personal theory. That's why we're testing it today. But that's the advice that I've been telling people. Yeah, if it's thicker in your hand, if you got a 5/8 grip, right, the head's gonna be lighter. If you got a 1/8 grip, the head's gonna feel heavier. So if you wanted, let's say, the head heaviest, or the head heaviest version of any racket, you get the thinnest grip. Therefore, it'll feel more weight in the head. I mean, that just makes sense to me. Now, what did we get in our data though? So let's take a look at it. Out of the 4, so we got 1/8 all the way to half. Weight is pretty consistent, shockingly, with Wilson's quality control. This is really, really good for Wilson. Wilson is doing well today, right here, okay? Now, balance, this makes a little more sense to me, right? If you have an 1/8, your balance should be a little less here. As you go up, a little more here, 3/8 and half, right? This makes total sense. As you get bigger in the grip, right, you get lighter in the head. So here's where it gets interesting. So this is correct. The balance is correct, right, in my theory. Now, when we look at the swing weight, right, you would think that this would be a higher number, 1/8. This would be a lower number, right, half. But it seems like Wilson probably rebalanced it a bit with probably some lead in the handle or some silicone in the handle, because you got 274 here, right? Which it should be, like, in theory, if they didn't mess with it, the higher number should be here and the lower number should be here. But it looks like they try to rebalance all these so it remains a little more consistent, because that is pretty light in the swing weight. That's even lighter in the quarter, right? You get more swing weight with the 3/8 and then, you know, just a hair less with the half. So I would think that, you know, it would be kind of flip-flopped, you know, a little bit more. These numbers here and these numbers here. But like I said, I'm guessing that they try to redistribute the balance by adding a little silicone in that butt underneath the butt cap to rebalance it a little bit more. But this makes total sense right here. This is what I'm looking at. So depending on what the racket manufacturers do to rebalance and re-swing weight the rackets will depend on what you get, right? But in theory, a 3/8 is going to weigh more and have a little more swing weight naturally, whereas a half will be a little more balanced, a little more headlighter in theory. So Gary, it does make sense, and I think my theory does hold up, unless the racket manufacturers, and they should do that, they should rebalance it and re-swing weight it at the manufacturers so that we get a pretty consistent product. But it looks like, you know, it's not bad. This is actually a good day for Wilson. I mean, we're spot on there. This keeps my theory correct. It's just swing weight has just been off, you know, pretty consistently throughout all ranges of rackets. So what grip size do you buy, and do you take this into account? Do you want head heavier rackets, or do you get a bigger grip so it's lighter, or do you just get your size grip and add an overgrip to it, which will also alter the balance and the swing weight a bit? All right, so Gary, thanks for the question. I hope that answered it. Thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.